Evidence to our select committee suggests that a shift towards modern methods of construction would require different skills, namely high-skilled technical jobs, project management, semi-skilled work, assembling structures and the like, and working alongside automation in a factory setting. So Mr. Boys, from your own experience, what sort of skills do you see as particularly necessary to develop within the UK workforce?
Yes, I agree. We need some different skill sets and different sets of apprenticeships. The conventional bricklayer and joinery apprenticeships will continue, but we need a multi-skill type apprenticeship suitable for MMC. For example, we've introduced erection crews, it's a different type of skill to what's been used in the past. A number of those crews have now been approved by the STA, Structural Timber Association, and certified as competency. We need design skills in terms of BIM, which I think is appealing to a lot of the younger generation. And it's a new skill set we need to develop, and we need new apprenticeships for MMC, whether it be in the factory or on the site.
And Ms. Thompson, what do you think?
I think in terms of one of the reasons that we developed went into MMC, volumetric solutions, really around skill shortage, and I think one of the advantages of certainly off-site construction is it can involve a greater degree of sort of semi-skilled labour, and I think I mentioned earlier, over 2/3 of the employees in Ilke Homes coming from outside of the sector and working in a factory environment. A lot of those skills can then be taught in an environment. A lot of those skills are potentially sort of repetitive in nature. I think one of the importances, which Mr. Boys touched on, was around actually ensuring that some of that labour force is multi-skilled, perhaps rather than single-skilled. I don't see any major barriers to that.
Okay. Well, having worked in the construction industry for well over a decade, I would suggest that training needs to be aligned with industry needs. Ms. Daly, if we are indeed to move towards MMC, as a developer, have you designed and delivered any training? And if so, can you elaborate with some examples?
Yes, so we have over a number of years been increasing our direct trade recruitment, and we've also sort of materially stepped up our apprenticeship programme, and specifically to key trades. Our sort of hybrid model, if you will, is to take apprentices into directly employed to Taylor Wimpey, and then to pair them with skilled direct trade sort of gangs or groups within our sites. We've also train some of our own erection crews around a timber frame. So we're seeking to address the skills shortage traditionally through increasing our own training and direct focus on trades right across the business. Every one of our businesses has a 5-year plan to increase the level of direct trades, and it is likely then that some of those direct trades in carpentry and joinery tends to be one of those that's most in demand for MMC skills. It's got the most sort of transferable skills into those then that are MMC facing. I talked earlier about there's quite a spectrum of MMC sort of methodologies, and actually quite a broad spectrum then of erection methodologies, and some alignment in the training. So Stephen talked about a multi-skill apprenticeship. That certainly I think has currency, because there are a number of different sort of proprietary erection approaches that we would have to seek to address, or see some alignment in those erection
Mr. Macy, what do you think?
We don't, but only because we don't self-build. But what modern methods of construction enables you to do is draw on a different sector's resource. So you can draw on manufacturing resource rather than just drawing on the diminishing construction resource. And it also depends on your approach to manufacture as well. So different providers will look at high automation, other ones will look at pure assembly. So therefore, you can take out fabrication and the real tradesman's work, and you can bring in a labour base, and you can upskill from there, and you can enable those workers to work on different workstations through a production line.
Okay. Well, look, the government has made various bold statements, and in their strategic plan for 2018-23, Homes England asked for industry bodies to act as partners and contribute to increasing capacity by offering apprenticeships and delivering skills training. Do you think that approach is working, Mr. Thompson?
I think it's beginning to have some effect. I mean, certainly as Keepmoat Homes, we invest very heavily in trainees, apprenticeships and graduates. Approximately 8% of our workforce falls into that category. I think, as has been mentioned here earlier, Modern Methods helps bring in additional skills into the sector, but the current sector also needs to encourage many others to enter the sector and to be trained. Anything that brings a sort of coordinated approach to that, absolutely we support. So I think, in short, yes.
Okay, Mr. Macy, what do you think?
I think yes. Obviously, it's going to benefit the sector. How they structure the apprenticeship scheme obviously is going to take some thought in terms of who holds the budget and how they roll that out. Obviously, for young people to be incentivised to come into the sector, they need to feel assured that there's going to be work for them at the end of it, and that the working conditions need to be suitable. And certainly I'd say manufacturer aligns with that, because working in factory conditions is far more attractive than working in construction.
Okay. Lastly, the Farmer Review recommended that the government should consider introducing a charge on business clients, with a clear implementation timetable in order to ensure that there is significant training within the industry. Do you think that such a charge would be a good idea, Ms. Daly?
We already and have historically paid a levy to the CITB, the Construction Industry Training Board. I think at times house builders have felt that the CITB hasn't been particularly focused on those specific skills that house building, as opposed to general construction, requires. We, as I said, Taylor Wimpey have taken significant steps in our own apprenticeship scheme. We also have management trainings and management apprentices, not just those that are site-based. We use alternative channels to the traditional channels of recruitment. So I think that we need to take control of our recruitment and our training ourselves, but certainly government and the likes of other training bodies can assist. The HBF have a homes skills training body, which has helped in raising the profile of what a rich career house building can offer. And I think helping sort of those that aren't or haven't had family involved in house building understand the wide range of opportunities and careers that can start on site and lead to sort of managing large businesses is something that we really ought to focus on more.
Okay, Mr. Boys, what do you think? A 0.5% charge on construction value on construction business clients? Would that be a good idea?
Similar to Jenny, we already pay a levy to the CITB. I think it's something like 1.25% based on construction turnover. In addition, though, we also take on average 200 apprentices per year in terms of trades. We also take on ex-armed force personnel. I think this year we're taking on something like 60 ex-armed force personnel into the business and retraining. We've worked with the colleges, and we've developed our own bricklaying apprenticeship with Stevenson College, Leicester, where we've reduced the bricklaying apprenticeship from 2 and 3 years by 6 months each. So it's an 18-month and a 2.5-year apprenticeship, because I think the 2 and 3 year old term apprenticeship was too long.
But in short, Mr. Boys, do you think it's a good idea or not? A 0.5%?
Well, bear in mind that we are already paying a CITB levy for training. It would be a duplicate charge.